guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Anna.
This is the Geeked Up Gaming Review Group from geekedupgaming.weebly.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at geekedupgaming1. We're going to bring you guys a review of a really hard-to-get game at Gen Con 2015. Hard enough that I have to actually tell you the story on how we got this game, Mysterium, from the Asmodee booth. So I happen to have a stroller, and that's why it got me into the front, because they didn't want us getting trampled on with the stroller. So my kids are the reason that I got the game. So Anna got second in line, and so we purchased it, and now we're going to bring you guys a review of it.
Anna was pretty cool because they weren't selling it to
They weren't
exhibitors.
selling it to exhibitors. So let's go ahead and go over to the table, show you guys the components into the game, and then we'll show you guys like a simulation of a playthrough, and then we'll give you our thoughts on Mysterium in the end. Alright guys, so here we have the box 2 Mysterium. You can see the fog and everything, and the car going up to the house, and then this is the big creepy house that we're in, and here's the old neighborhood. And I like the whole theme and the look of it and everything. It's really cool. So it's for ages 10 and up. One of you must be a ghost, it says. And then it is capable of playing 2 to 7 players. And then it takes 42 minutes. Sometimes the game goes quicker.
I think that's the funniest part.
Yeah.
42 minutes.
Because we've played, 42, not 45, not 40, 42 to be exact. That's a lot of playtesting to get that exact number. So, let's go ahead and flip this over and show you guys the back of the box. So there's a letter here. Let me see if I can read it. What does that say? Douchy of Warwick, Scotland, September 14, 1922. Professor Alphonse de Belcourt, can't pronounce, France. Dearest Alphonse. Yeah, this is going to be awful, guys. Sorry. It has been 2 weeks since I moved into the old family manor that I inherited recently, and I confess I am more than a little confused. My second sight has been playing tricks on me, but I am quite certain of one thing. There is definitely a supernatural presence in this house. Something dreadful must have happened here in the past, and now a ghost is attempting to communicate. I would like to invite you up to the manor together with Alma Ardeshare, Madame Wong, and Jocelyn for a special seance to bring peace to this tormented soul. Do say you will come. I look forward to receiving your reply. Ever yours, Mac Dowell. So that's the letter saying that there's a soul or a ghost in the house and is causing a ruckus. So they want to put the soul out of its misery and find out who did the crime. So let's go ahead and open this up and show you guys inside the box. So here we have the game rules.
They had a big thing of this image at the convention.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like set up like you got the newspaper articles, and then you've got all your psychics, and there's the layout of how everything's laid out. So that makes sense. So that's basically the rule book, and then this is the blind that's going to be used by whoever is playing the ghost.
And
so
this game is co-op.
Yes. You're trying to help them. And then this will be all the pockets that everything goes in. And we'll show you guys my view on this end, and then we'll show you the view of Anna's end on the simulation of how to play.
In here, it sets up, and this right here tracks the clairvoyancy points on this little dial here. Each character, you get your little orb, and then you get these little markers There's stands in here.
Oh, are they in the bottom?
This is to mark the clairvoyancy. And then this thing also marks clairvoyancy. These tiny little pieces.
And what do the crows do?
The crows are for doing kind of like a mulligan in your draw. Depending on how many players there are, depends on how many crows you get to use. In here, I don't know the specific names for these, but these are the cards that the ghost gets that are the images. And
so basically the ghost, so basically the ghost is communicating through
pictures,
flash images. Yes,
and you have
memories.
to decide what they're trying to do, because there will be certain pictures out, because these are all numbered. These are the cards that actually go inside the slot inside the blind, but these are like here is who did it, and they're numbered. So the big cards, where's the big cards?
Oh, they're back here.
Right here. This is what will be in front of the players, and there'll be several of them, and then there's also a mislead or more. But you match them up, and then one goes in the blind for each person, and there'll be matching ones out there plus one or some more.
Yeah, and we'll show you how to set everything up in the setup
So
sector.
there's the people one.
Oh, and here's the clock that's only, you get 7 turns, and once it hits the 7, if you don't get everything figured out and it goes over to the broken side of the clock, you've lost the game. Now I can't say that I've played a game yet that we've lost, have we?
Yeah, because I couldn't guess it.
Yeah, that's because we played it on medium or
Yeah,
hard.
and they were all guys of strong nature. Here's the locations, and here's the big location that will be in front of the players. And then these are the items. There's little ones that will be in front of the players, mini cards. And then this is the one that goes in the blind. There's a timer. This right here goes behind the blind to signify if you've given them cards that round.
And we'll show you all that when we do the setup and everything.
And here's the little pocket sleeves that you put the cards once you figured it out. Because the ghost is not supposed to talk until reveal time.
Yes,
And
we
then
have to
they
be
talk.
completely silent. So let's go ahead and we'll jump over to how to set the game up. Okay, so this is the first part of setup. What you're going to do is you're going to start with the people cards, and they have the little, or psychic cards, I guess you can call them, and they have the logo for the people being on there. So we're going to take 4 of these. You'll usually shuffle these up, but we've been playing the game since Gen Con, so these are already shuffled up. So I've got 4 numbers. I got a 13, 14, 16, and 3. So what I'll do is I'll set those aside, because those are going to go to the psychic side, and then I'm going to pick those same numbers out of this side. So I have the 3, I have the 16, I have the 14, and the 13. So those 4 will be set aside for this side, and then you can take the remaining cards and put them back into the box, as they will no longer be needed. And then you go to the next one and do the same. So we'll pick 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll set those back in the box. And so all I'll need is 30,
27, 24.
30, 27, 24,
20.
and then 28. And I'll set those back in the box, the blue ones. Those I'll keep there. Slide those over, and then I'll select 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. And those cards I'll set there. And then I'll pick 47, 44, 52, and 39. 39. And that'll take care of my people, locations, and
Items.
items. the weapons that were used to kill me. So kind of like in Clue, it's who did it, where they did it, what they did it with. And then I set those in the box as well. And now we're gonna go and show you guys how to set up these cards with this and how to set these cards up inside of the blind.
Alright, to set up the main board for all the psychics, you're going to take the cards that you drew earlier and they're going to get set out. Just for space saving. And then this is located here for the last one. And then the locations are going to go. Or you could set it up, and we don't have that much room. You can do 2 in a row or whatever, depending on how much space you have. And then your tokens are going to go right here. The little globes, we need blue and black. And they start there, because this is what you're guessing. You're guessing the people. Then
and these are the pylons. The blue one.
Orbs, magic balls.
Yes. The crystal ball.
So that's set up for this side of the table. And then we can show you set up for the blind.
Alright guys, so here I have the blind set up, and since we're only using the psychics of the blue and the black, you're going to pick the board where it's got the blue stripe and the black stripe. Now if you're playing with any other color, you would use the red, white, yellow, or purple. But for this, we're just going to use the black and the blue because it's straight facing away from Anna. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my character cards first and shuffle these, and even though there's only 4, this is just randomizing what we're going to use. So then I'll choose the top 2, I'll flip them over, and these will be the 2 characters that I have to try and get Anna to guess. And then I'll go ahead and take those and put them in the box. And I'll go ahead and go to my staircase, which is the next icon. Out of those 4, I'll shuffle those up, and then I'll get those, I'll slide those into the box, or into my blind here, and then that will be the place that it happened. And then we will go to what the weapon is, and you'll see that we'll explain how these coincide with each other and everything, and how they're going to work together. And I shouldn't have done that, I just looked at the cards on accident. But anyways, we'll have the 2 weapons here, this one and this one. And then this will be how you set it up. And then the cards that you're going to have to try and help your psychics figure out who did it are going to be these cards, and you're just going to have those back here with you. And then you're also going to have these markers. They're going to be down here on the bottom, right next to the wall here. And I know they're kind of blending in with my logo on my mat. But then when you give someone cards, so say I gave cards to the blue psychic, then I would put this marker up to the board telling me that I've already given cards to that psychic and I can't do anything for that turn on that psychic. Or if I give some to the black psychic, then I would move that marker up to that. So that's how you set up the board on this side. Alright guys, so what you're going to do to start the game is, if you're the ghost, you're the one that's going to start the motions and everything. So what you'll do is draw 7 cards from the images deck, I would call it, the visions deck, and then you're going to take those and try to match it to one of your people that you're trying to show that that's who did it. So we have that character and we have that character. And you want to use everything from facial descriptions to hair colors to anything that's in the picture. So for, I would say, my blue psychic, I need that psychic to guess the first character that I showed you guys. So what I would do is look through here and see if I referenced anything that would be obviously the same or maybe not the same. But here's a little detail that I can show you that I see, but maybe the psychics won't. So you see what this character has on their head. And then in my clue, the character on this clue is wearing the same thing. So what I would do is I would hand this over to the psychic, and I would say this is for the blue psychic. and hand that to them. And you're supposed to take everything that you would clue-wise and hand it to them. As far as yes. So then, let's say I only gave that one card for that character. I would draw a new set of 7 cards.
Just draw back up.
I'm sorry, I draw back up to 7 cards. So I have 6, I only used 1, so I would draw up to 1 more.
And you have 1 crow for 2-player. And in case if you don't like your hand at all, you can discard the entire hand and you put the crow up on the board to indicate that and you get more crows for more players and such.
Yes, so I'm going to go ahead and use this one on the Black Psychic. And let's say, I don't know, let's try that one. So now we're going to change.
Start the timer.
We're going to go over to Anna's side of the table and show you what you would do as a psychics.
So the ghost would start the timer right here when he's handed out the last card. And then it is co-op, so players can discuss what they think. And I'm going to look at this one right here. And I think that she has the same kind of hat, so I think that it might be that one. So I'm going to put my blue on her. And then this, I see tools and stuff like that. And it seems to me that maybe this guy has tools. And so I'm going to guess on these. And so that would be my guess. And then if it's multiplayer, you get to bid on what you think is right or not, and that's how you get your clairvoyancy tokens, and that will let you see more cards at the end of the game. But on a 2-player, you don't play with those clairvoyancy tokens because there's just one person. So at this point, the ghost is permitted to speak yes or no, or you can knock for 1 for yes, 2 for no. So ghost, is this correct? No. Yes. And so this would go in the blue pocket because it's correct. Ghost, is this correct? No. So this comes back and this gets discarded because it's been used and this blue character is on to another phase, and the black guy gets to keep these cards because he's going to get more cards. And it would go on like that. But the timer has now gone to the 2nd hour. It's round 2 now. And that's how you play the game. The final stage, you would have it narrowed down to the people, locations, and weapons that you would do. In a 2-player game, you would add 2 random ones that they could choose from so that it broadens it. But we're just going to have the 2 for simplicity. And we'll talk about that in the review, what we think about the mods for multiplayers, for the different numbered players. So now we're going to go behind the blind and show you how he will select which one actually did the crime.
Okay, so as you saw in the previous frame that we had only 2 characters chosen at the end, which is at the very beginning that we decipher that by the cards and everything. So now what we're going to do is that to end the game, I need to draw 7 cards of a new hand. 5, 6, 7.
And if you had a hand left over, you would actually use that hand. Or you can mulligan it with a crow.
So let's just say I mulliganed it and I put a crow up. So now I have a new set of 7 cards. So I would take 3 of these cards. First one would only try to explain which person actually did the crime. The second card is actually going to only describe the area it was done. The third card will only be to describe what weapon was used.
But the thing is, you actually shuffle those cards before you lay them out for the psychics. So they don't know what order it comes in.
Yes, and so I have to use this marker to choose which person is actually the culprit that did it. So that'll be the one that I choose. And I'm going to put that over here for the psychics.
There's a little marker for that on this.
Yeah, right behind my board. So I couldn't see it, so I just handed it to her. So I don't know why I'm shuffling these, because I get to choose. I get to pick out of these 7. So let's say... Let's pick... These are awful. Let's do this one. You say I hand these all to you at the same time?
Yeah, in a more than 2-player game, based on your clairvoyancy points, shows you how many cards you actually get to see. So you could get 1 card, 2 cards, or 3 cards. But in a 2-player game, you always get all 3 cards.
Okay, and since all these cards were terrible in trying to describe what they were, or who it was, I'll just hand them over.
And there is a paper plane, some candles, and a bell.
So when you're looking at those, you don't know which one goes to what set.
No.
Ah,
Well, see,
I see.
there's a candle here, and this has like a little light here. And there's some paper on hers, but there's some paper on his. And this looks pretty, and it's a woman. So my thought is going to be that this is going to be my guess. And you would blindly do this on a multiplayer game. You would have your little, can I see those tokens inside? You would silently do this. You would take these tokens right here, and based on the number 1, 2, 3, and you would quietly put the one you select in here and hand it to the ghost, and the ghost would determine. Majority needs to pick for it to be right, for everyone to win the game. If it's not right, then everyone loses the game. So now the ghost would reveal if, well, we can look.
Yeah, so I can't see the piece.
You want to just move the blind?
Oh, yes, we can
So
do
they
that.
can see. So here, I flip it over, and is this 1? This is 1, and this is 2, so I got it wrong. We lost the game. So that would be how you play. And so you would have to wait until next Halloween to do a seance. So that's kind of how it's written. But that is how you play, how you set up the game, and now we will go to our conclusion.
Alright guys, so we'll show you guys the component, the box and everything, and how to play, and we hope that you guys liked it. We extremely love this game. It's awesome to be able to play as a character to where you don't have to communicate with anyone. Not that I don't like talking to the people that I play with, just that it's got that mechanic that I've never played before where you make
There's a silent
no
player.
actual communications other than using cards and knocking on the table. Now, the knocking on the table, you can substitute it with saying yes and no if you don't feel comfortable with knocking on a table. And
Or if you're like me and keep forgetting which one's yes and which one's no.
yeah. So I think we might have mixed that up earlier in the video, but can't be perfect. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on it?
We were on, well, Tim was on, I kind of popped in on Undead Vikings Alaboom, and they were telling us that this is actually a remake, and they added the clairvoyancy tracker stuff. And when I played with multiple players, I really felt like it didn't add anything. Plus, it's kind of silly that like the people who were bad at guessing only get 1 card at the end, which I guess makes it harder. But we didn't know that this was a reprint. We hadn't heard of the original, but I've also heard that it's like Clue and Dixit combined, which I think it's a really cool game. I think it's a cool concept, and I like that you're communicating through cards, and you can take anything from any of the cards because the cards are so random and so abstract. So you really kind of have to know the people you're playing with, because like what you might think, like, oh, they'll look at the pictures or the colors or something like that.
Because most of the cards that I play with, and maybe I'm giving away how I play and I'll have to change it up now, but I always try to play as I try to match objects in the picture with objects that are in the other pictures, and try to do it that way where somebody would be like, well, this card's yellow and this background is yellow, that must be the same. It's like, no, that's not it at all. So maybe somebody that's new playing with me or anything like that, they won't know that I try to match objects, even if it's like the tiniest little thing. There was one time Anna had some character and it had a bunch of keys on the counter, and I chose a picture that had one key hanging on a hook in the center of the picture. It was kind of like, it kind of reminds me of the movie The Ring, where it just has that like one thing hanging somewhere, or it had that one like distinctive look to it, or characteristic is what the word I'm looking for, and like you could just feel the creepiness without having to actually just, like, you'd see it and then just get the heebie-jeebies. So it's just like, it's kind of neat to be a ghost and then feel that in a game where you can feel like the haunting and the derangedness of the cards and everything, and they might be even bright colors, but they're still kind of dark and demented. Like there's one card that's got 4 donuts, that makes the tires, it's got 2 coffee cups that make the headlights, and then it's got these 2 metal plates that make the sides of the vehicle. And I didn't notice it until we started making this video, and I actually noticed it while we were doing it in the video, but I didn't want to say anything about it because it would have completely thrown off everything we were trying to do and showing you guys how to play the game and how to set it up. So I wanted to save that and talk about it now. And it's just like, you see stuff like that, and if I saw something going down the road where just stuff was floating and it made like the shape of a car or whatever, you know, anything just floating in the air would kind of creep me out. I'd be like, whoa, what's going on? Like, I'd be feeling over it, looking for the fishing string, seeing if one of my buddies are just messing with me. So
I think that the theme and all that stuff is really cool, and it actually, there's like a little link inside the rulebook that takes you to a soundtrack for the game, and I think it'd be way fun to play with the soundtrack.
I actually want to get that soundtrack and play with it.
Like around Halloween, I think we'll play this game a lot, and with a group, I think it's a fun. It's easy enough that I feel like it's an icebreaker game too. So I feel like people who aren't gamers will like it because of the clue and.
Yeah, it's got this whole like theme to it, to where someone that's not really into gaming, they'll be like, oh yeah, and then it'll look like there's a lot of going on, but then when they're playing it, there's really not that much going on, and then that might be an entry thing for them to be like, well, let's try another game that's like this but a little harder. But as far as this game, I think it's one of those that it's its own entity. It doesn't have another game that's like it, as far as to my knowledge, other than the original print. But as far as the new print, I don't think there's anything like it other than the before and after.
I just think it's really cool. I think it. Well, what's the word? Like ambiance. Like, it's just, the art and stuff is really cool. I think that it's dark and creepy and fun at the same time. So
the box is feng shui.
We think that it should be in every library.
Yeah, every personal gaming library. I think this is definitely
I don't think it's out yet. When is
one
it
that needs
release to be in October? Or something?
I don't know when it releases. It would be nice for it to release around Halloween time, to be kind of like in the theme, because Halloween is in the theme of the book and everything. And I hope you guys weren't too discouraged by me reading the story and me not being able to pronounce some of the words, but I feel like having the backstory makes it more interesting as well, because that's actually the first time I've even seen the backstory and heard the backstory.
There's a lot of flavor text in the rule book, a lot. So
yeah, that's what's kind of neat about somebody that makes a game like this. You can take just anything from anywhere. You can just take ghost stories and then just smash them together, and you've got a backstory for a game, and it gives it that creepiness without having to have monsters and ghouls and all this stuff. And in this case, the monsters were the psychics, the clairvoyants.
Monsters? Wouldn't it be the ghost?
Somebody that kills somebody else is a monster.
But the clairvoyants didn't do it. They're trying to figure out who did it.
Yeah, and then in the end, you pick who did it. So that would be one of the clairvoyants. Yeah, the ghost picks a clairvoyant that did the murder.
No, they don't.
Then why are we picking a psychic on who did what?
No, you pick the characters that you determined. Those are different than the clairvoyants.
I'm so confused because you just said clairvoyants are the people that can see beyond the natural.
Right, they're the psychics that you're playing.
Yeah, so that make them clairvoyant.
Yeah,
so
but they're not the murderers.
I picked one of them clairvoyants to be the person that killed me.
No, you pick the person that they figured out who did it.
So you're saying the characters that you're playing aren't the people that did it?
No, not at all.
Then why am I picking a person, a place, and a weapon at the very end of the game?
Because it's the people who you
We have
figured
we
out.
have a debate right now. First one ever on any of our reviews.
See, look. Oh wait, it's in here.
Show me this.
I will show you. See, look. These are the characters of the clairvoyants. Can you see? These are who you play as.
Oh, I was completely confusing myself.
And who you pick is who did it, and you choose one of the people who
Yeah,
figured it
okay.
out.
So yeah, these are the psychics that you play as.
So essentially, in the line of the story of the game, each person has a line of someone who it could be, and then the ghost, it jogs their memory when they see all these lineups, and they say, "Oh, that's the one who did it," and they remember who killed
Yes,
them.
and then those cards are to simulate flashes of memories of what they saw or what they see and what they remember. So it's
Right.
like a flash of memory. So it's
Why do you even question me? I'm just always right.
It's a really good game. I because you can't be right all the time, so I have
One
to
time.
keep you on your toes. So I completely confused on what we were. I thought
You thought the psychics.
I
were
thought
the ones who did it.
completely.
I could see how you could think that, but-
Yeah. But I should have known that. But I've only played the psychics one time, so that's my defense. I've only played them one time. I played the ghosts every time because I like the. It's not control because everybody has to work together, but it's just that feeling of.
It's
I
hard
have to
on
get
both
you-
ends.
I have to get you on a path, and I have to make sure that you stay on that path and you don't veer off. And then as soon as you veer off, I gotta yank you back over to the path again.
Without saying a word.
Yeah, without saying anything. So it's like, I don't know. It's like I want to punch you, but I'm a ghost, so I can't punch you. So,
Whatever.
not physically saying I want to punch you. I want to punch your psychic. Like the ghost wants to punch the psychic, but he can't because it's a ghost. So.
You should just stop. We like the game.
Yeah, we definitely like the game. I mean, we could probably go on and on and on about it, but for time, so you guys don't have to watch a 5-hour video, which with the timestamps that are on there, you don't have to watch a 5-hour video. You just click on the timestamp and you're good to go. So that's it. The game's good. Definitely pick it up when it comes out. If you have the original, there's no sense in. There's no reason you shouldn't get the second one. I mean
I don't even know what the first one looks like. I wonder if the art's the same.
I've seen some of the artwork. I think that this one has a lot better artwork. I think this one's a lot more detailed. It has more of a ghost thematic to it, where the original one, as long as that's the original one I saw, because it said Mysterium on it and it had all the same mechanics and everything, I feel like that one was a little flat, where this one has a lot of detail and is popping. And the color of the box, it's got that like kind of like a turquoise color to it.
It's my favorite color, teal.
Yeah, so a teal color to it. So it's got that blues and it's got the blacks and
It's just pretty.
It's
a creepy pretty.
even balance of color of light and dark. So, all right, so that's all. I'm Tim.
I'm Anna.
It's the Geeked Up Game Review Group. Don't forget to visit us at geekedupgaming.weebly.com and check us out on Twitter at geekedupgaming and the number 1. All right, see you guys.
Bye.